the U.S. premiere of Lucid, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a nice warm Sedona welcome back to the stage, writer, director, producer Adam Morse, and the star of the film, Mr. Billy Zane.
Thank you. Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having us. What a lovely festival in such a lovely town. I had the pleasure of coming here some years ago, but it just seems to be getting better and better, and you're most fortunate to live here, those of you that do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
It's my first time. I've only been here a few hours, and I love it. I'm thinking about extending my stay.
Was yours the flight that I was getting did they keep moving your gate today? I kept getting updates on your flight from LA. Was that your flight?
I don't think so.
Did they move you around, or were you okay?
That was a dream.
Okay, good. All right, well, since you brought that up, I feel really stupid. Is that a real thing, the lucid dreaming? I've never heard of that. Am I the only one that hasn't heard
Come
of
on,
it?
Sedona, tell them.
So talk to me about this then. Where did this come from, Adam, for you? Where did the film, the concept come from?
I had a lucid dream a long time, my first lucid dream. I didn't know the term or what it meant or what it was, and then I looked it up, did some research, and I was really freaked out by the experience, to be honest. It was a nightmare, really, but I couldn't get out of it. There was a bit of sleep paralysis in there as well, to go with it. And after learning more and more about the techniques and how to practice it, I became better and had more and more lucid dreams. And I got into it. and kind of like Zell does, we're talking about 10, 12 years ago. I got a bit obsessed with my dream memories, and I guess lost touch a little bit with what I was really saying to people. You paid me. I paid you back that money. No, you didn't, did I? Well, stuff like that. Like my friends, they go, "Oh shit!" But yeah, I always had a big passion for just, I think, not just like lucid dreaming, but I've always been fascinated in psychology and the mind and reality. What is real? Where are we right now? So that's where it came from for me.
So knowing that, is any of the film at all autobiographical in any way of the writing, is from what you went through?
Like everything you just saw, really. I mean, I had that job. I sat in that booth, I worked in that car park, I had that dick boss. I was chasing that girl. I mean, she didn't look like that, but, everything you saw, pretty much, yeah.
Well, you've come out of it quite okay. I'm really glad about that. Talk about casting this guy. What brought him? Did you know him before? What brought him to the?
Of course, I knew. Not personally, but of course I knew Billy's work, and being my debut film, my first film, I figured it was going to be a punt to go after a star like Billy, and fortunately, he liked it, and he responded to the material, believed in the project, and then I got to know him personally and found out what a great guy he is. Funny as hell, like super intelligent, and I've learned a lot from him making this movie. I feel really lucky to have shared the experience with him.
So Billy, I'm turning it over to you. I'm over here now this side of the theater. Stage right. I know, right? Are you dreaming or are you not dreaming? Billy, what made you, when you read the script, what made you want to take on this role? What made you say, yes, I'm going to do this?
My conversation with this lovely man, fundamentally, the written word. There was some ad-lib, I think, but it was more about delivery than actually the language. All of the nuance was crafted meticulously by Adam. I felt the timing of this film was landed on near public service, because there's, you know, and it's curious because since we filmed it, the Me Too movement happened, and I always said that, you know, the issue is the boys, you know. It's like hashtag man up, you know, we have broken boys, and we need to fix them, you know. And the idea that this movie hung on the notion of a young man's first kiss as its monumental payoff was so refreshing and cut through all the noise of anything I'd seen or read in years, and was so important to show a roadmap out of that hole that many are in and don't put down the game controller and continue with their meds and, you know, sometimes pick up a gun, you know, and or worse, you know, have a very negative and, if not dangerous, outlook on females. And I felt this was a really important movie for that reason. It charmed me, it was touching, but it was critical, and it just made me realize how important it is to use the medium on the simple things, on the critical things, on the things that define our fabric as individuals in terms of a social contract, as, you know, citizens, as neighbors. And so I just wanted to throw, you know, my full might behind it. As a result, it's emerged as one of my favorite performances. I love Elliot. He's just you know, he was a pleasure to play. And I'm infinitely grateful for the opportunity.
Your film has a David Lynch quality about it for me, which really appeals to me. I was thinking of Twin Peaks a little bit with some of the imagery. Was David Lynch part of your inspiration at all, or is that just?
A little bit. You know, I'm a big fan of Mulholland Drive. That's one of my favorite movies. That's definitely you know, that was a reference for my DP and you know, some of the other team. So yeah, that's I guess a fair reference. Yeah.
Your film was so well done, and for me, very disturbing. Where did the reality and the dreams come together? I lost track of what was real and what was
Good.
Funny that.
Okay, that's music to my ears, because that's, you know, that was the intention. It was to distort and leave it down to you really to decide, you know, what is real and what's not. You know, I leave it there for you guys to ponder on and debate amongst yourselves. I'm sorry, I'm not going to confirm or deny what is real and what is not.
Speaking of music to your ears, the scoring was absolutely fantastic. Did you have a hand in any of that?
Of course, yeah. I had a hand in everything. You know, I just breathed this project for 5 years. You know, trying to get it made and then making it, and now getting it out there. It's been my whole life, literally, from the moment I wake up to going to bed. It was all I was thinking about, you know, while we were doing it. And every department, you know, I felt like I had to fully immerse myself into. And I was blessed to have so many great collaborators who, you know, make me look good. But yeah, the music is something, you know, I especially enjoyed working on. I mean, I have a little bit of a musical background myself. I used to sing in a band. You never heard of us. We're not famous, don't worry. And so, yeah, working with Walter was joy. It was so much fun every day, you know. Yeah, we wanted to do something different with the score, where we could disturb the audience one moment, and then in the next, like, hang you in like an ethereal state of like romance and sweetness, and and just keep mixing it up moment to moment, because, you know, in terms of same for like genre or anything, I don't think, you know, I want to put one stamp or label around what, you know, the style should be for the movie as a whole. I think, you know, moment to moment it's got to change, because that's reality, that's our lives, you know. Some days are good, some days are bad, and you know, anything can change in a minute, you know, the way we feel, you know, the color, the tone of a situation around us. So that was, you know, the conscious effort we made when we were working on the music, to try and keep you guys, I guess, you know, on the edge.
Did you self-fund, or how easy or difficult was it for you to get collaborators or funding over the concept of the movie?
It wasn't easy. Being my first film, you know, there was no. Well, I'd made a short film before this, which was, you know, had done well, but obviously it's a step up doing a feature.
Can we tell them?
Huh?
Can we tell them?
Sure. I mean, which part?
You know, what I discovered a few days in.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe,
can I mention it?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
Just
some of them
because-
already know, but.
So independent film is hard to get going, right? It's a tough thing to communicate one's vision, regardless of the elements, and convince, you know, them to part with, you know, I guess in pounds, I don't even know what the budget was, but let's just call it $1 million.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. So yeah, communicating one's vision, pretty tough when you can see. Adam's legally blind. True.
Yeah, well.
He's blind, and was when we made the movie. He's good at not falling off stages when he gets up on them. Trust me, we were ready to pounce and make sure he didn't. And he's good at letting you not think he is, but didn't tell anybody when he got it funded and made, and didn't tell me until I realized on the 4th day that there was an absurdly large monitor on set, and he was inches from it. And I thought, man, he really wants to like make sure the shot looks good. He's just very like the detail. I mean, that's. And then his producer finally revealed to me that he had this degenerative.
Well, it's stable. What I see now, what I'm left with, is what I got. It happened 10 years ago. I contracted this rare mitochondrial disease called LHON, Leber's for short. And yeah, there's no treatment or cure out there for it. So the central part of my optic nerve deteriorated over about 12 months. So I lost my central vision. So I have some partial sight left in my peripheral. So it's, you know, it's kind of made me feel powerful in a way, because not only am I the senses heightened, you hear that all the time, but a lot of my mental capacities have evolved as a result. You know, I'm a lot more, I mean, I was always quite like a sensitive person, but, you know, I'm like hyper emotional now because I feed off of energy so much. You know, I can't physically judge people off face value. You know, if I meet any of you tonight and then I walk past you tomorrow, please don't think I'm ignoring you. I literally don't know who's walking by me. You know, I'm B2, I'm registered blind, like Billy said. And, you know, so it's a struggle, but at the same time, I do feel lucky to have, you know, it's like being these like superpowers where like my memory, I'm flexing all the time and I'm relying on, and, you know, telepathically the way I'm able to communicate with people now, because it's all vibrations and how I feel around people, you know. I'm not looking at how they're looking at me or facial expressions or that kind of stuff. But look, I'm lucky I have what I have to be able to do my job. Give me a big monitor and I'll make a movie, you know, and a great team of people. Thank you. Thanks. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was hard to get the money. It would have been a lot harder if people knew about my condition, but I kept that a secret. And before I was, you know, before I made my first short film about 5 years ago, well, before this happened to me, and I lost my sight, I was an actor doing theatre, and that was my dream, was to be an actor. And it's still an act every day now, you know, faking eyeline where I'm looking to see people and going into those finance meetings, pitching, trying to get this movie greenlit. I was afraid that I was going to get found out, the rug would get pulled from under me, and I would lose the opportunity. But, you know, I guess fate was on my side to get me into the position to go, okay, look, I'm here. I did it. I delivered the film, and then I told the investors. Because they didn't know. I mean, who's going to invest that much money into
a blind director?
Yeah.
Probably nobody.
Yeah. But, you know, for me, I feel like I have to be open about it now because I've proven that I can make a movie, and I've delivered this film, and it's something I'm proud of, and I want to give permission to everyone to feel confident in themselves, you know, despite whatever physical or mental condition you may or may not have. I feel like everyone needs to be, you know, hopeful, and for me, like, the possibilities are endless of what I can do in my life. Forget this fucking condition. I know I can do anything, and I want to spread that message of positivity, you know? And in terms of the negative stigma that surrounds disability, I don't even like the word because I'm enabled by my condition. Honestly, like the things that I've said already, it doesn't disable me. It really doesn't. And
all right.
there you go. That's how I feel about it. And
it's okay.
That's it for me.
I've got to hand it to you because I knew you were blind. We were dealing with we were making your flight arrangements and things. And he comes in and he walks right up to me tonight and meets me. Comes walking to the stage, and I said to Liz Muller, our hospitality VIP manager, I said, "Are you sure he's blind?" He walked right up to me. So you had us all fooled. So thank you. We appreciate it. Tell us what then became, you know, other than the monitor, were there any limitations you experienced as that you just didn't account for when going into making the film?
No, because that's why it's a collaborative process. That's why you have a team. I'm not a one-man band, you know? It's not me out there, you know, solo gunning it. I've got great artists around me that are supporting me. So if there are limitations, we're jumping over them together. You know, I'm a very open-minded person anyway, you know, outside of the profession, but when it comes to being on set, yeah, I guess I'm physically forced to rely on, you know, maybe something my DP seeing that I'm not, or maybe it's some background my AD spotted, or the art department about a prop and moving something. But I'm just going off of more of a general kind of, I guess, vibe that I'm getting from it.
You've forged an aesthetic your entire life. This is a fairly new development, so every choice you're seeing is his. You know, we played with some wardrobe ideas, but you know, for the most part, it was like, you know, that's his movie. It's all him. And trusting of your team. So, you know, you sharpened your skills, and your spidey senses may be heightened, but that's
Is there
it.
any correlation of that occurrence with your lucid dreaming?
Sorry, what was the question?
Was there any correlation with the degeneration of your eyesight with when
Yeah,
lucid dreaming
well,
started?
I that's one of the reasons why I really got into it, is because I was still able to see in my dreams. The tiny flashing dots that are everywhere right now, they kind of went. It was like someone just lifted like them off, and you know, it was like, okay, wow, I can play football again, you know, which is something, you know, grew up playing. I love, and I can, you know, I can clock someone across the bar and make like a, you know, something, whatever. And so yeah, I've really kind of experienced lucid dreams a lot through kind of losing my sight, and allowed it to be a tool for me, like it is for Zell in the movie. And while we were working on the movie, it came in handy too, because I was, even before, during prep, I would practice my pitch in my dreams. You know, I mean, I would do it when I was awake in the mirror too, but sometimes, or to myself just walking around. But while I was, you know, staying on location and we were shooting, like the next day, I knew I was going after particular shots. I had them in mind, but of what I wanted to do. But then, yeah, I would dream. I remember like one in particular in that long shot in the club. I saw it in my dream, and kind of, yeah, something just triggered, and I was like, okay. And then, you know, came in the next day like with a new idea. So through lucid dreaming, I was able to practice, you know, a lot of the different elements that we put into the film, how I moved the camera, and just little ideas.
How about writing it?
Writing it too, yeah. A lot of the story.
The act of it wasn't it mechanically more difficult or more unique when you were actually?
Oh, I mean, writing is like the hardest thing that I've found myself doing, and it's because it's an arduous process for any writer, I know, to go from like nothing blank and then flesh out a story. But I use a piece of software called Jaws where you know, I have to listen to what I type and it reads it back to me, so it can be a bitch for formatting and stuff. So even so, you know, a lot of the time, the most of the writing is done in my mind. Sometimes when I'm awake, I'm just meditating or walking around, I'll come up with something. But again, yeah, when I was lucid dreaming, a lot of the moments in the film came to me in those dreams, and then I put them into the script after.
I really appreciate how you sort of depicted, knowingly or unknowingly, the different levels shamanically of the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. And it's like you kind of wove those between where Zell was located, like he was either underground in the lower world, or the middle ground where he was in a little cage working at the entrance, or he was above in the upper world in his apartment. And to me it was really magical how those, he had different experiences in each realm, and in a very kind of shamanic way, like he was experiencing different levels of consciousness at every level. So thank you.
Thank you. That's yeah, well observed. I don't think anyone's ever picked up on that before and made that comment. So that's very, very.
Indeed. Did you plan that? Was that intended?
Of course.
Good answer.
Totally.
Good answer.
Totally.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, that's
The
totally.
3 levels.
3 realms. That was the working title, by the way. The 3 realms.
Yeah. That's awesome. So talk to us about your lead actor, Laurie, that played Zell. Where did you find him? Have we seen him somewhere before? He was wonderful.
No, I had never seen his work prior to this. I mean, this is his first.
So to speak.
Yeah. I hadn't appreciated his filmography to that point. I mean, this is his first lead performance. This guy, he had, you know, this is like a breakthrough performance. So yeah, this is for me something I think is big for a young actor like Laurie in their first, you know, lead role in a movie. And he auditioned like many actors who came in to read for Zell, and he stood out. You know, amongst everyone that came into that room, there was just something about him, you know, a magnetism, a quality, you know, and it just fit with what I had in mind for who Zell was, naturally. But then, you know, after we worked on the character together and developed Zell, obviously he changed, and it was a great experience. Honestly, we became really close working together, and he actually moved in with me during prep, and. Yeah, definitely. I feel like, you know, I kind of relate to all the characters in a weird way. I feel like I have to, if I'm going to be able to tell the story truthfully. There has to be something in everyone that I can... But Zell more than anyone, of course, yeah. It's, I mean, it's definitely not who I am now. But, yeah, there's that for sure, yeah.
What's the backstory of The Shrink? And why you have an American in the middle of this British background? It's a foreigner who came in, and a foreign dog, aliens, illegal aliens.
Did he have papers? I mean...
What's the backstory? How did that work, and what was that?
Although I can do an English accent, we just didn't feel like it was necessary. It's an international film. Foreign nationals live in England. Aliens are amongst us.
You alluded to a little bit in an earlier question.
I don't know the backstory. And I like it that way. I can't explain it. preparation's a funny thing for me in some films. You can obsess and know too much. It's like the equivalent of, the concept of method acting in some ways, which I don't subscribe to personally, because the idea of going out of a scene to try to remember a sense memory of what happened when I was 4 to create an emotion for what should be happening in front of me is illogical for me right now, my process anyway.
When the guy knocks on the door and opens the door, then you're there. Before he opens the door, where are you?
At the craft service table, just kind of, But I mean, it's in the best sense of the word, it's child's play. It's make-believe. It's the secondary experience encroaches on the primary, so much so that you just believe it with such conviction. The dream, the reality, the blur, the membrane, the wall, the border wall, whatever you're after, you just it goes, and you're there, and based on what happens in each moment or take, you're very present. You bring as much as yourself into the moment. I love the liberty of creating very loose rhythms. I made a point of not necessarily knowing my lines too well ahead of time.
Well, you mentioned the ad-libbing earlier, and I mean the ad-libbing, the improvisation, and I mean you deserve more credit that you gave yourself there, because although there was I felt like, okay, I wrote this script. My favorite moments are when Elliot's just flying and firing off, and when Billy's doing his thing, he's in it, flying off the cylinders, and I'm sitting there going, wow, where did that come from? Like, you got to do that every time now. Like, you hang up first. I'm not going to close the door on you. That's like, I think I've definitely said that since to people, and they're just standing there, and I'm like, come on, go away, But yeah, a lot of my favorite moments from Elliot is just, I can't take credit for it, because they just come out of this guy. And it's just his instincts,
I was, learning as much about lucid dreaming as I could on the fly, and he was the expert in the room on the subject. I latched on to the inherent logic of it, and the logic of how the sacrifice of that space, the benefits and sacrifice for him. He lost his marriage, slept through his marriage. What does a sleep doctor do? He sleeps. Of course his marriage sucks. It's like, it was funny and tragic and kind of, whatever. It didn't require much deep mining beyond that and everything that, love and loss is to all of us, But the science of this practice and the idea that you can, positively change your waking state by, allowing your subconscious to go and drift and actually be directed. We're all directors in the dream state. That's the thing. That was fascinating to me. I just tried to be present as much as possible. So there was certainly, some degree of research, and as I said earlier, it's like I like to hold on loosely. I don't know. Characters don't know what they're going to say until they say it. We don't, until it comes out of us. So I don't like to be too pat, too rehearsed, too set in my way. Just loose enough with just enough danger to, God forbid you mess it up or, step on it and ruin something for someone else. That pressure I like to work under a little bit. You gotta have it. But I don't want to obsess or be too rigid within it. So it's this very interesting game of process whereby you trust and you free fall and you listen, and everything you need is in the other person. You just pay attention and react in real time, and you flow, and that was that exercise. And I love the work. I can watch my work objectively. I'm happy with this stuff. This is good. Thanks. This is good. He said about his work. Don't quote that, for Christ's sake. Any journalists out there? But he loved his performance.
This question is for Billy Zane. I'm more familiar with some of your earlier work, and it's so good to see you on this big screen again.
Who's talking? Thank you. Sorry, I really want to go look at you. Thank you so much.
No, truly, it is. the camera loves you. And I'm wondering what you've been doing. Are you doing a lot of independent film? How can we see more of you?
Oh, that's the sweetest thing. Thank you so much. I've just finished a series in England called Curfew by the producers of Peaky Blinders and the director of Black Mirror, big episode for Black Mirror, quite supremely talented folks. Again, in the UK. I work in England a lot. This thing is pretty badass. It's wild and funny. It's like a John Carpenter genre movie in the near future, an illegal race, dystopian. There's creatures, there's wicked gunplay, and it's like Cannonball Run meets Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with these, it's absurd and mad and highly entertaining, yet grounded by incredible performances, on caliber, just great English actors. And that just dropped in England on Sky One, and will probably come here before long. I think on Charter as a flagship show, but it will be I think a extremely popular show. That was exciting. And next up, I'm producing and starring in a film about Marlon Brando and his architect named Bernie Judge, based on the memoirs of Bernie, whom he hired in 1969 to build an ecological compound. Then, like, only Brando would be thinking about that at that particular point. It's a wonderful slice, almost like this two-hander on the beach. It takes place in Tahiti, and we're going to shoot in February. Our writer-director sitting over there, Bill Fishman, came in town with me, so look out for that work. It's a very exciting piece. Brando was known for walking the walk and being a trailblazer in indigenous rights and civil rights, certainly, and dangerously so for him. And who'd have thought that environmental rights, the man was on point and leading the charge. So it's a quite telling and funny and touching tale, and just a great slice between Godfather and Last Tango. And it's a role that I obviously feel very blessed to be able to play. So we're happy about that. That's going to happen probably the end of the summer. Looks like in Fiji. So come on down.
First of all, I want to echo the sentiments of the last woman. I thought your acting was stellar. All the acting was really fantastic, and the film itself, really enjoyed it. One of the confusions that I had, we were talking about this before the Q&A, was why sometimes he was, the main character, Zell, was powerless in his dreams, insecure, not confident, and then sometimes he had all this charisma and power, and so it kind of like, I didn't understand why it would, unless it was supposed to be that way, kind of like the confusion of, is this a dream or reality? But we just didn't understand why at times he was real powerful and confident and sure of himself, and sometimes he was pretty insecure.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, you can sometimes lose a grip on the handle. You're not always in control. And that's when you see Zell lose the gold suit, and he's no longer the man, and his projections are running the show. And I've been there. I don't know about you guys, but it's scary. One minute you think, oh, I got this. Who do I want to go see? Oh, let's go find her or him, or, and then all of a sudden, like, whoa, hang on, where did this giant spider come from? Hang on, I thought I was, I thought this was, this is my mind, this is my dream. So, with lucid dreaming, it can swing, it can flip, any moment really, and that's kind of what you see with Zell. 1 minute he's, like you say, he's the boss, and then he can instantly regress back into his shy and timid ways. This is like a life-changing week for him, and he's only just starting to learn the practice of lucid dreaming and come to terms with himself, I guess, as well, in his own manhood. He's still evolving, across that week.
That makes sense, though, yeah. The randomness of it, because that's how dreams are. It would be
Adam, is it your relative brother? I saw Jake Morse as one of the music credits. Any relation?
Yeah, he's my brother, my younger brother of 3 years, and we both lost our eyesight at the exact same time, which is strange. Yeah. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't believe the universe is random. I really don't. And when I, accepted what happened to myself and my brother as destiny, it gave me a whole new perspective on life, and it was a spiritual awakening. It really was, and I'm very proud of him because when it happened to us, I had this amazing network, a support network around me of not just, our parents have been incredible to both of us, getting us through that time. But, I had so many friends that just had my back and kept me laughing. And Jake didn't have that. He was 16, I was 19. And the kids at school would actually, they would pick on him and play tricks because he couldn't see. And it was, a traumatizing experience. But he's come full circle now. You meet him, he's such a happy guy, so sociable, And I'm not going to take all the credit, but I was talking about making this movie for a long time. And he would even be like, oh, how are you going to do that? We can't, thinking, that the condition is going to stop us. So I had to do this to show him that we can do anything. And he was a talented guitarist before he lost his eyesight. I think he's even better now, but, he can't see what he makes a chord, he navigates that fretboard like it's nobody's business, and he fucking rocks it. He plays the guitar, and that's his music you hear in the film at the end, when Zell and Kat are in the car, driving back to his house. That's him on the guitar. That's his piece that was used in the score. Walter worked with him.
Can I just say this? Oh, go ahead. I'll save mine for a wrap-up.
Do you have a way that you can sort of like generate, how do you have lucid dreams? Do you have any control over it, etc.? Or is that just a crazy question?
Well, there's lots that I left out. There was too much to put into a movie, and well, you know what? I could have, but it would have been a different film. It would have been a documentary on how to lucid dream, and that was never the point. It was always a story and a movie about a boy and a character and him coming of age.
Give him a hook. He wants to lucid dream. Tell him how you do it.
Okay, well, I can always send you the 300-page draft that never got made, which includes things like, alarming out of REM cycles and coin flips. There's a lot more you can do, but it's all online, man. You can check it out. You can read and just, I'm self-taught. It's beautiful, the information age we're living in. No one has any excuses anymore. You want to know something, reach into your pocket. You find out straight away how to do it. It's an incredible time to be able to learn. Touch of a fingertip, or ask Siri.
I just want to say, I don't think it's a particularly, a coincidence that the American premiere of this film is in Sedona. We're so grateful, and it just resonated as we, it's a place known for healing, right? And known for nurture and finer currents and deeper realms, and it's, it didn't register until we drove here tonight, past, how many fabulous crystal emporiums and psychic healing centers. And, hey, I'm New Age scum, man. I'm all over it. I'm a card-carrying member. I'm deep, so. But I'm happy that we dropped this here because it seems like a drop. The ripple, I think, hopefully will, cross the pond and back to England from this point of impact, and will carry. Thank you for having us, really.
Well, we are truly honored, and it is the perfect place for this film. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you so much.
I was going to do this Sunday, but I thought since there's so many people here, we got great cameras. We are actually, Matthew Earl Jones, would you join me back on stage, since you found this wonderful thing? We are honoring Mr. Billy Zane with an Outstanding Acting Award, honoring his entire career on screen, from way back when to this incredible film tonight. So,
Are you serious?
I'm not I'm serious. It doesn't come with cash or anything, but some nice hardware. So we got these great cameras rolling. We want to make sure we post this and give some nice plugs to the film because I just absolutely am so honored that we got to premiere this film here. We owe it to Matthew Earl Jones. You, from the get-go, when you knew we were interested, there was never a doubt whether he was coming or not. He's so passionate about this film. I will be there. Tell me the date. Tell me the time. I will be there. And Adam said the same thing. So, Mr. Billy Zane, Outstanding Actor Award 2019, in honor of your passion and dedication to acting, your commitment to the art of independent filmmaking, in recognition of your outstanding career bringing memorable characters to life on screen and in our hearts, and in appreciation to your devotion of making films that make a difference. Thank you for sharing your passion with us.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. It's like, this is your life. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you. I was misting up before, and now you got me. This is like, come on. With it, that's, thank you. That I had no idea that was happening. Okay, that's,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm
And
so
Billy and
grateful.
Adam are going to be out on the red carpet. They're going to say hello. So go out and visit them. They're going to see you around. You're here till Monday, I think. So we're going to get a chance to see. And now I want to promise from you, we got the cameras rolling. Bill, can we get the Marlon Brando film sometime here in Sedona? I don't need a premiere. Save it for Sundance. Can we have the film here?
It's yours.
God bless you, baby. All right, Marlon Brando coming
Verbal
back.
contract
Billy
binding.
Zane, Adam Morse, Matthew Earl Jones, thank you for finding this treasure for us. The film is Lucid. Don't forget to vote. Come and see us on the red carpet. Thank you all so much.